All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. I am good. A little sore after this weekend. Played squash yesterday for the first time in a while, and I love squash. But it's a great workout. But it's you use muscles.
Nice.
You don't, otherwise, use sore.
Good for you, Peter. Glad to hear that you got some work on, man. Awesome. Friends, everyone else had a great weekend. Also, what's squash? I'm picturing it here. Some kind of little bit of I gotta look it up. What is squash?
Squash? You go in a little room and you get a racket. It's got a long handle and a small head. It's like racquetball, but different.
I know racquetball, so it's just different. Okay.
Squash is more international. Racquetball is just the U.S., I think. I don't know. I'm not sure why.
It looks just like racquetball. Yeah,
I played squash since I was a kid. Racquetball's got a short little handled racket. Squash has got a big long handled one. There you go.
I don't know how you could tell the difference. It looks so similar, but I see that that's a tennis type racket there. Yeah. Okay. All right, that is fun. That is fun, man.
It's a great workout, though. You'd be surprised how much a workout you get in a tiny little room. It's a lot of work.
Well, that ball is bouncing all over the place.
You drop the ball, it literally just goes blop. So you got to warm it up, and even then you got to hit it hard to just make it bounce. So, anyways, it's good, excellent workout. You know, they say, I figure, see, I'm doing it right. I play tennis, I play pickleball, I play squash. They say if you play a racket sport, you can live up to 8 years longer. So I figure at this rate, playing all these racket sports, I'm going to live forever.
That should definitely balance out how many years we lose with trading and the stress. So you kind of, you're right at there. So that's good. That's very good. All right, friends, let's get to it. Our gappers list this morning, very light. That looks interesting. Only 4 tickers on our gap up this morning. Not a whole lot gapping down or up this morning, just that. And hopefully things are looking good, which I'm surprised because the market is getting a little bit of a nice bounce. I know a lot of tickers are up between that 1%. Like if you look at Meta, if you look at Apple, if you look at Nvidia, they're all up 1%. Tesla should be on this list though. So my concern with this list being accurate, it's not too high right now because Tesla should be on here. They're up 2.2, 1.3 million shares traded. Why is Tesla not on this list? Because I know they have a lot of great news today. So, all right, we'll start there. Let's look at the first one, SMMT this morning. Let's start and see what we got going on. SMMT. At the moment, we're up 32%, 3.4 million shares traded. So, yeah.
We're missing something.
What are we missing?
We got to look at the economic calendar.
Yeah, let's see what's happening today, if anything. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, not that we're missing much, really, but there's a couple of things today. Wholesale inventory is coming out at 10, and then consumer credit at 2. You never know. Recently, we've had strange market movements with unexpected data. Maybe the wholesale inventories will move things. I would say don't worry about it, ignore it. However, don't forget, we're coming up. We're a week, we're 9 days away from the interest rate announcement, which everybody's expecting on the 18th of September. So leading up to that, the market may do weird things as we start to position for it. But it's still a light day, but on the economic calendar. But we should have at least let you know, just in case. If something happens at 10, you can't say that you weren't warned. I'm just checking the Fed Watch tool. What do the analysts think are going to happen right now? See, it's interesting how sentiment has been changing wildly over the last few days. Remember we were talking about this on Friday and how it had moved almost 60% to the half a basis point cut? Well, the sentiment's moving back, by the way. Now, this morning, when you look at it, the sentiment is 77% that we're going to get a quarter point and only 23% that we're going to get a half point. So the analysts are moving back to the smaller decrease in interest rates. Again, nobody thinks interest rates are going to stay the same or increase. Everybody's expecting a decrease, but we're back to what I've been saying all along. I think it's going to be a quarter point, but finally, the analysts are starting to agree with me. They'll see the light.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully it's not slow and we're getting some action until that time comes up, right? Because that's the big event. What's happening with that interest rate cut. But here, guys, today we're getting a bit of a bounce, right? We had a massive sell-off, not massive, but a big sell-offs last week. So getting a bit of a bounce into this Monday morning. All right, let's take a look. SMMT up 30%, 3.4 million shares traded. So we got a lot of action on this one. Normally does not trade very well. If you look at the daily here, it looks all over the place. But today they have some action. Peter, any news driving this one this morning?
Absolutely. They are quite literally curing cancer. They had some very positive feedback. And by the way, it's Monday, which means this is when we get the biotechs. Yes, over the weekend, they announced that a late-stage study on the treatment of lung cancer has shown very positive results, much better than Merck's. Merck's got a competitive drug out there, and this Summit Therapeutics drug is outpacing it, outperforming it. So that's good news for them. Not so good news for Merck. But Merck is such a big company that it's not going to move as much as Summit is getting a 30% bump here this morning. So although it was up much higher earlier today, if you look early in the morning, we all pretty much hit $20, $19.95. So that means it was up like 60% earlier, and now we're down to a mere $16. So it's probably going to be an active day for Summit with 3.5 million shares traded already.
Yeah, definitely very active. Tons of volume today. I want to add this to my list. I don't know how well it's going to trade. SMMT. We'll put that on here for now. All right, let's take a look at the next one. TERN. It is up 12% this morning. 4.4 million shares traded. And as you can see here, we do have some good action on it. Also, really bad daily. So not the best daily activity. Barely any volume. Today they're doing almost 3 times as much volume as they do on a regular basis. So in play today, turns of pharmaceuticals, looks like, Peter. Any news for them?
Another biotech. So this is an obesity drug that has very positive phase 1 clinical trial results. Their once daily oral GLP-1R agonist. Man. Okay. Anyways, it's an obesity drug, and it's seen positive results, which is why it's on our list for this morning. I've gotten a little jaded on these obesity drugs. Everybody seems to have one, and I don't know. They're jumping. Anyways, it may be tradable. I'd probably watch Summit over Turn. Turn is got a little more volume. They're up at almost 4.5 million shares. If you look at the price action on a short-term chart, I just don't like Turn as much. It's I don't know. It just doesn't look as interesting as Summit to me. But we'll see.
This one doesn't. Yeah, I like Summit a little bit better, not by much, but this one definitely not going to put it on my list. But if you do like it, put it on your list. I'm not going to be doing that. And even Summit, I have it as a secondary because who knows? I mean, I love the volume. I love the gap up, but who knows how it's going to trade at the market open. Here's one that can trade very well. It is PLTR on the gap up list this morning, 8.4 with 3.1 million shares traded this morning. So that's looking really, really nice. Again, it's a hit or miss for me when this thing trades well. It can be on both sides of the end here of the spectrum. It can be really, really good, or it can be completely horrible, still with volume, but very choppy. But today looks good, Peter. I like this gap up towards the recent highs we had in the middle of August. What's your take on it?
Well, I'm surprised that this one's on. I don't know why Dell is not on our list. Dell should also be on our list because it's got the same news. So big day for these two, plus another company called Erie Indemnity. ERIE is the ticker on that. These three PLTR, Dell, and Erie have all been added to the S&P 500. So that's usually good news for a stock when they get added to the S&P 500, because means that now anybody that has a tracking stock, right, all those ETFs that track the S&P 500, well, they've got to reset their holdings and buy shares of PLTR and Dell and Erie to add to their portfolio. Now, the S&P 500 is always made up of 500 stocks, which means if they're adding 3, they got to get rid of 3. So PLTR, Dell, and Erie are the winners this morning, if you will, on that front. Those that are dropping off are American Airlines, so AAL, which I don't think was even moving, which I thought it would drop a little bit. It's actually up by almost nothing, 2 cents. But Etsy, remember our good buddy Etsy? And Bio-Rad Laboratories, BIO. So those are the 3 that are falling off the S&P 500, and the 3 that are being added are what we started talking about, PLTR, Dell, and Erie. So I think Dell and PLTR are probably the best 2 to watch out of all of these. Maybe AAL, American Airlines, to the downside. But what I will expect to happen is a little bit of resetting. Now, this is not, it's not like it's catching the market by surprise. So people could have reset some of those volumes on Thursday or Friday. Sometimes, that action will continue on to the Monday. Likely, it's only going to happen after the bell rings, though. I'm not surprised not to see a lot of volume on this. But, again, once the bell rings, I think that'll happen. So, Carlos, good enough news that I do think PLTR is absolutely worth watching. And I said probably Dell as well.
Yeah, it's funny. For some reason, I thought Dell was already in there because they're such a decent sized company. But it caught me off guard that you said that was being added on. I'm like, wait, is Peter reading that right? Maybe they're being taken off. But no, you're right. It wasn't on there. I mean, it's just strange.
I'm wondering if they were in it before and maybe got taken off, because they were huge. But that was like 30 years ago. I mean, when did they take remember when it was Dell and Gateway? They were the 2
Gateway.
They would you wanted to buy a home PC. Those are the only 2 to buy from. They were revolutionizing the market. And where's Gateway now? And Dell, of course, has changed their model. Really, they make a lot more money off of everything. But I mean, they still obviously make personal computers, but the rest, they're much more money off of their back-end services, their servers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Compact. Yeah, Compact. That was another one.
I was going to tell you, that is the one I grew up on, Compact, man. That's what we had in our household, and that was awesome. All right, I like, out of all of these that you mentioned, PLTR is the one I like the most right now. They got the volume, they got the gap up, they can trade very well. I think it's more significant for them to be on here. It's my, again, just thought opinion, not even based on facts, but it looks very good. So I like them this morning. All right, and let's take a look. And if I look at American Airlines, you mentioned that one also. I just think it's down so much that they could get dropped off of the freaking exchange here, and it doesn't matter because they're just down. They're just not doing well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, back to our list this morning. PLTR staying on mine here. VOD. VOD is on this list, but it shouldn't be on here. So we're going to skip on that one. Big old garbage truck for that one right there. Let's look at DB. Also shouldn't be on here. So no volume. And this one, even when it has volume, it's a foreign ticker, and we know how bad it is. So roll the trucks on that, and we'll cover our gap up based on that. All right. Good morning, Andrew. Andrew is in Nepal right now, KMT. So he's I saw that on Instagram. He met up with his good buddy who he climbs with there. So lots of fun stuff.
Dr. Nima.
Good. Yeah. So excellent. Red, nice post. Follow Andrew on bearwoodtraders.com. You should see a lot of very great pictures from his travels this week as he climbs some mountains here. All right, friends. He's gonna climb Kathmandu. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but yeah. So that should be good. All right, friends. Peter, let's go to you. We're running definitely early this morning. Well, there's one that was not on this list that should be on here, which is Tesla, right? Because I heard this all over the news today. I am going to add that one to my list. It is up 1.5 million shares traded. So Tesla will be on deck for me this morning. And I know we're going to be looking at our usual suspects as well. I'm going to wait for you guys to call those out. But oh, Kathmandu. Okay, so he just spelled it wrong the first time. So it is Kathmandu, as you mentioned, Peter. Capital of Nepal. That is where Andrew is. Peter, what do you like this morning?
Well, I mean, like you said, Tesla in the news. You're right. Surprised it didn't make our list. It's Elon has been, I don't know, doing some weird things recently, whether it directly or indirectly. There was the rumor last week, if you remember, I can't remember, was it Thursday, Friday, where Trump reportedly said he might put Musk on his cabinet, and then there were some denials, and then some not so clear denials, and anyways, I don't know. Then, of course, over the weekend, there was a suggestion that there was a discussion that Tesla revenues may be shared with shareholders, but Elon said, no, that's not happening, or I'm not doing that. So I don't know. I mean, Tesla's, it seems to be like the usual Elon weirdness, right? Like there's always occasionally weird news that comes out over over Elon. So he just likes being in the spotlight, I think. So look, if it makes the stock move, then I'm all for it. Go be as crazy as you want to be. But it's always in play, so probably worth watching today, especially on a day where it's pretty quiet, like we're saying, Carlos, right? Not a lot on our list, and the gap up list is light, the gap down list is completely empty. Look at that. Like there is nothing there. Like it's a rare day where you just get a completely empty list. There's just nothing happening. So I'm look, we can't deny our good buddies, the semiconductor sector. Nvidia reasonably doesn't make the list. It's only up by like 0.8%. We're talking about a 90-cent move here on Nvidia. Had a sort of a rough week last week. Look at how it got pulled down pretty much for the whole week. Still hanging on to $100. Friday I was looking iffy if it was going to stay above 100, but here we are. It's looking okay this morning, but in its usual volume, 5.5 million shares traded on Nvidia, so it's still in play. Come on, like we have to keep it on the list. My other friend there, AMD, falling behind without much volume this morning, under 300,000 shares, and the short-term chart does not look good. So Nvidia is definitely the buddy who's in play right now. So. It's other than that, everything else is pretty muted. Like Apple, doesn't look that good. Even if I go to some of the other Magnificent Seven type stocks, Amazon trading with no volume, Google no volume this morning, Netflix not doing much, Meta same thing. Like they're all like it's just quiet. So I think, be patient on your trades this morning, right? There's a few things moving. PLTR, Dell. Again, if you like the downside like I do, you might want to keep an eye on American Airlines. They all had that S&P 500 either addition or removal news. But yeah, it's just be cautious, man. Wait and see because, things can go nuts when the opening bell rings and take off or not. But, don't get yourself into trouble if you don't have to.
Absolutely. We're definitely seeing the lack of volume this morning, and that happens coming into September. But you're right. A lot of these just not seeing a whole lot. Like you look at Apple, they're all just very, very quiet. So PLTR, Tesla, and NVIDIA for me this morning. That's what I have. What do you guys have this morning? Let's go to the chat room and see what's in place here that you guys might be watching that maybe we don't have on our list. So we'll start in our chat and Bearwood Traders chat room. I'm not logged into the BBT chat. Ooh. That's not good. Let me log in and say good morning to our friends here. So we'll log in here and see what you guys are watching today. So, Peter, not sure if you logged in already. If you see any tickers that we can look at from the chat.
Well, people are talking about stuff. DJT I see being mentioned. I didn't know that do they have any news, or is it just? I mean, they've got 1 million shares traded so far this morning. I have to admit, I don't think that I've ever traded these guys. Sometimes they've been sort of fun to watch. It's sort of like watching a train wreck in slow motion. But I don't know. I mean, the I don't really see any news on it.
Yeah, they got
I'm not sure.
volume, but they're again they're I'm with you, man. They're so tough to trade. I'd rather watch something else or nothing at all. This thing is I'm not a fan of it at all when it comes to the actual trading. So I will keep that off my list for now. I saw BA being mentioned. I know BA has some issues, right? They had the tire blow up that unfortunately two people passed away on, were killed on, and then it has some just a bunch of stuff keeps coming out from these guys. So right now they're up 3.7, 417,000. So they do got some activity this morning. If you know BA doesn't move a whole lot in the morning. They do got some higher than usual volume. So maybe this would be one to keep an eye on. But again, it's just everything has been negative for them, but they're getting a little bit of a bounce here. So I'm going to add a BA to our list. Whoever mentioned that in chat, thank you very much. Another one being mentioned here, Peter, SMCI. Again, just similar to our usual suspects and also the semis, very quiet. Besides Nvidia with 5.5 million, which again seems low because by this time they're doing like 9-10 million. Everything is pretty quiet with the semi. So I'll keep an eye on Nvidia. That's going to be our go-to today. And then we know all the names we can follow right after. We can look at AMD. We can look at MU, SMCI, and other tech companies. Oh, you know what I recall now? Also heard in the radio this morning, Bitcoin is up. So Coinbase, I think all these guys are bouncing this morning. See, Coinbase should be on our list here. So Coinbase up 2.5, 287,000. So they're getting a little bit of a bounce from all the sell-off the last couple of days. Coinbase was her leading the way here. So they're up 2.5, 287,000. Could be interesting. I'm going to add them over to our secondary list. And then we can look at the other ones like Mara. Mara is also up 2.4 with 419,000 as well. So you can look at that. But Coin and Mara really are the ones that we look at. Our usual suspects when it comes to Bitcoin. So we'll look at those two. I'm going to add them to my secondary because I admit they have not been great to trade, right? They have not been all that fun. So although Friday, look at the drop Friday, guys. 163 all the way down to 148. That is a big drop on Coin. Won't give them too much credit because obviously everything was dropping on Friday, right? For the most part. All right, what else, friends? Over on YouTube, Apple release. Oh, that's right. Apple's event is today. That's right. 10 a.m.
Have you been
Pacific time.
practicing your ventriloquism, Carlos? Because
I have not. I have
you're
not
staying very
been practicing
still.
that.
How are you doing that?
I,
You're not even
I'm
moving. And
this is what I'm
I
going to
hear
tell you,
you.
Peter. Right after this live show, the first thing I'm going to do before I even trade today, I'm going to go on Amazon. And I'm going to buy this $20 cable that I have looked at hundreds of times and always forget to hit the button. So I'm going to do that as soon as I get off this thing. So yeah, battery's dead. Battery's dead. We'll get
deeper
that
for this or
out.
the cat.
Oh, let's get the cat. I'm not staying like that the whole time. Let's
Okay, I'll swap you off.
I get the cat. All right, so yeah, friends. Apple, their event today.
Did you mention
Pacific.
Boeing?
I did mention Boeing. Yeah, Boeing's on my list.
Okay, all right. Because they had news, they avoided a strike by getting a deal with their unions. It looks like, and it's been interesting. In the airline world in Canada, we had some news. Air Canada was supposed to go on strike, but apparently that got avoided. They also had the pilots union was took them to task, and apparently the pilots have been offered something like a 50% pay increase. So that's quite significant. But anyways, Boeing had an issue with their unions that would have stopped production on their planes, and it looks like they've got a deal. So Boeing, we could see some upward movement on it this morning.
Yeah, I like Boeing. Definitely on my list this morning, up 3.4, and some good volume on there as well. So, and yeah, so we're mentioning Apple, right? So Apple, though, is dead right now. Their event is coming up today at 10 a.m. Pacific time. But last time they did their event, they had little movement into the following day, right? The following day was when they really got going. Now this is different. I'm going to add them just for that in a secondary. Be on the lookout to see if Apple gets some good stuff going. Maybe they'll announce a new cable here, something on the Apple platform. I just don't see what their next thing is going to be. I mean, I still have an iPhone 13. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it for me to upgrade. So when the 16 comes out, do I really need to upgrade? Peter, you just upgraded because you wanted a better camera, not even a phone for your daughter's wedding,
That's
right?
true.
So it's,
Yep.
I think there's only so much you could do with phones. I mean, what else do you want? What else do you want from your phone to do? Because until they start teleporting you places, I don't think you need to upgrade a phone unless there's not something wrong with it.
I mean, admittedly, I went from like an iPhone 6 to like an iPhone
6,
15.
like 6 with a single digit 6.
Yeah, 6. Like right here it is. It still works. See, look, it still
Wow.
works. I just,
Perfectly neat.
the battery's dead, so I have to keep it plugged in all the time. But it sits right here,
Well,
and I just
yeah.
leave it plugged in. And I went from this guy to this guy. So interestingly, the technology. Look how much bigger the new phone is compared to the old phone. But anyways, that's. But you're right.
We never had iPhone 6.
I bought an
No, I think
Android, and I prefer it.
No, we
so much
did have an
better.
iPhone 6 Android. I think we did. Yeah, no, we know Brent is usually IT guys tend to be non-iPhone guys. I don't know what it is. They're just against the cult here. They don't appreciate that.
I like
they don't
paying
appreciate iPhone.
half the price for everything you get in an iPhone in an Android.
I don't think it's that, because I've seen IT spend a lot of money. I don't know what it is.
It's the same reason why they used Linux, right? Because they don't want to be. I don't want to be the man.
They don't want to give in to the man.
Frankly, it's one of those things. This is my opinion. I don't love the iPhone, but if you go Android, you're basically saying I'm going to actively try and not be part of North American society. That's really what you're saying.
That's a hot take.
It's like dressing goth. It's the tech version of dressing goth, right?
I think we need a poll. Apple versus
just
Android.
Trying to be, different. And even if it makes your life more difficult, right? Black lipstick, weird stuff. You're making your life more difficult just to prove a point. The problem with the iPhone is they make everything so easy. It doesn't do anything the best. But it's the easiest platform to use, and it's the one that just has dominated North American markets. You go outside of North America, go to Asia and other places, then the iPhone doesn't have as much of a stranglehold, right? But anyways,
they're such a pain in the butt. One last thing here before we move on to possibly some stocks that we can watch today. Pretty light this morning. The one thing I love about it, and I tried switching to Android, but once I used to try to use some kind of video conferencing on Android, oh my goodness, the quality is so, I can't say that word on live here, but it's so crap emoji. It's so bad. So bad. So when I'm FaceTiming with the kids, I went right back. I bought it. I'm like, no, I can't do this. I returned. They got an iPhone because the quality of the FaceTime is just so good with the kids. They just can't figure that out. I don't know why. They got to figure that out. It's not that difficult, people. Get it together. All right, friends. That is our rant on iPhone and Android. Let's get back to stocks here.
I've had them all. I'm trying to find. I don't even know where it is right now. But like I had a Windows phone. Right? They didn't last very long. It was like one of my favorite phones ever. The camera was ahead of its time. It did stuff that no other phone could do. But it had the same problem as like the old BlackBerry, which I also loved. That you couldn't get on half of the social media apps. Right? When my kids were starting to send Snapchats, for example, that's when they started to get into Snapchat. I couldn't play. So I couldn't be part of the whole family group. So when I was forced by a company I worked for to go to an iPhone, I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever, grudgingly. And then I realized, it's not awesome, but it just makes everything easy. So, all right,
it works.
Fine.
It works. All right, friends. There you go. That's how we feel. Take it how you want, whether you're iPhone or Android, doesn't matter. We love you either way. This morning, we don't have much as far as our gappers. It's pretty light this morning as far as things goes right now. We look at the SPY, and at the moment, we are up, though. We are in the green. I'm surprised there's not more stocks taking advantage of this gap up that we're seeing in the overall market. Cannot wait for the market open. We're going to get good volume. Peter mentioned it earlier today. You have to be patient today. It's not a day where there's a lot to look at, but I think what we have to look at looks really good. Like PLTR looks great. I really like that one. Tesla looks awesome right now. NVIDIA, not the best one, but does have some movement here, some good volume. So I like that. And also BA has got some opportunities with finally some good news. Let's hope the other wheel, I was gonna say the other shoe, but for them, let's hope the other wheel doesn't drop here, and they can get a nice momentum. So that is looking good. And then we have Apple with their event today at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which would be 1 o'clock our time, Eastern time. And we'll see if that can drive any type of volume there. So not a lot, but what we have here, I think, is showing some really good potential and quality. Let's do this, friends. Let's find out what's happening for the next 2 weeks. I'm not going to ask for likes this show either, because we did well the last one where we did not ask not even for one like. But just want to let you know where we're sitting at. We are 133 likes so far, and it's 9 o'clock. We'll just let you know what the time is. And, if you feel inclined to do what you have to do, we appreciate it. Peter, what are you showing us here? Is this your current laptop?
No, this is back in the olden days. This is like my favorite personal device of all time. This is pre-Palm Pilot. I used to have one of these. It's called a Scion, and I think it was a company out of the UK, and it was the best device. I used to amaze people in the early 1990s. Like I would whip this thing out, and I would run spreadsheets over lunch. And people were like, "You're what?" I could do a spreadsheet on this and then go and load it into my computer and then work on the same. And this is in Lotus 123, by the way. So here, I'm really dating myself. But yeah, look at that baby. It was like,
what did you carry this on? Did you carry this on a gun holster? Like, where did you carry this?
No, I put it in my pocket. It wasn't all that big, but it was great. It was way ahead of its time. It never caught on because shortly after this thing came out, the Palm Pilot came out, and Palm Pilot took over and just ate their lunch. Right? You guys remember those? Anybody is anybody old enough to remember those bad boys? Yeah. Here's the old. Where? Hold on, let me bring them over here. Yeah, we all remember these, right? The old Palm Pilots. These bad boy. That's what then took over the world. So, and then got replaced by the BlackBerry, and that's like technology just keeps on moving. So what can you do? Anyways, I'm dating myself.
Friends, over to bearbootraders.com, you can always see what's happening for the next 2 weeks. Click on webinars, and Peter will let you know what's happening for this week and next.
People are now showing old tech, man. They're showing an old Motorola phone. I used to have one of those. They were awesome, man. It was like indestructible. All right, anyways, moving on. Yes, we got current stuff. Forget about old tech. We got modern tech here that we're going to talk about. And every week we like to talk about the trading platforms that we use here. The primary one is DAS Trader, and it's a great platform, but sometimes you need a little help setting it up, configuring it, figuring out how to use it. Brendan is going to help you with that if you need some help. And he puts on a webinar that's available to all members, irrespective of your membership level. And it's at noon on Monday. So today, if you're interested, you could join as a member. Even if you joined right now as a member, you could go to Brendan's class at noon and be part of that. In addition, today, we also have our onboarding class that Carlos leads. That's at 8 o'clock every Monday. That is happening this Monday, like every Monday. That's not a holiday. And it gives you an introduction to the Bearable Trading chat room and all the value you can get out of your membership. So hopefully you'll put those on your calendar. If you got questions, they've got answers. So noon and 8 o'clock today. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and that means we're going to talk strategy and trade book. And this Tuesday is no exception, as I say every week. We usually do this like every single week. Thor is going to be leading this Tuesday session, talking about edgeful statistics and how you can get to day trading excellence. I love the confidence, and it's well-deserved because he is an excellent trader, and it's well worth listening to all he has to say. So that's happening tomorrow at 8 p.m. in the webinar room for all of our elite members. And then the week after, I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this. If you want to know how to manage taxes in the U.S., you can get some hints here by Joey and Dave. They're going to be with us on Tuesday, September the 17th. This is the one that we had to reschedule from about a month ago. Thank goodness these boys have recovered from their COVID scare, and they're back with us. So this will be happening on September 17th at 8 p.m., and we'll give you some idea on taxes. You know that Will won't give you tax advice. We'll bring in the experts, and they will talk to you. So put that in your calendar. Wednesday, we then move to psychology, as we always do. And this coming Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the journey to mental resilience. And we need to know about that because mental resilience is the key in trading. Wesley is going to be leading that session this Wednesday, September the 11th. Oh, 9/11. Look at that. Okay. But this September 11th, this Wednesday at 8 p.m., he's going to be having a webinar on that. And then the week after, Randy Howell is going to be back with us talking about how to crack the secret code for disciplined trading. That is actually Wednesday, the 19th of September, I think. I think we got the date wrong on that because we just said the 18th. I got to check my calendar now. No, Wednesday the 18th. There you go. Never mind. I'm apparently losing my mind. I thought we said the 18th on the previous one. But anyways, Randy's going to be talking about how to crack the code for the disciplined mind. All right. And then Thursdays, it's all about mentorship. We always have a bunch of mentorship sessions. In fact, we do mentorship every single day in the chat room. I mean, that's part of what being part of a chat room is, right? Getting the help. But if you really want to get some in-depth answers to your questions, we give you 4 opportunities every Thursday. John leads off at 11. Jared and Megan talk options at 2. Lenny turns back to equities at 4. And then Thor, of course, has his ever popular Thursday mentorship session that happens at 8 p.m. So full slate of activities Monday through Thursday this week. Like every week, we got some great stuff this week for you. So hopefully you will be part of the room and take advantage of that. If you want information on the markets anytime, we always send you to tradingterminal.com. It's the one place to go. You know, you should know it by now. Hopefully you go there and get a lot of the free information data that you can get access to. Tradingterminal.com's got everything from the economic calendar of events, to the scanners, of course, that we use in the morning, the news, right, that'll keep you up to date. We have an academy that gives you some courses you could take. Now, that's the only paid part of the site where there's some courses you can buy. And right now, we got a back-to-school sale where they're 50% off. So check it out. And, there's no cost to browse. Go check it out and see if there's something that you like in there. But it's a great website. And again, most of it completely free. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. All right. And here at Bear Bull Traders, well, we would love to see you part of the team so that you can join us in the community, have a conversation. Our members are awesome, man. They're still posting old tech for me. I love it. We got all sorts of old tech being posted here. Mr. T's up with the latest. I saw a good old was that like a reverse Polish calculator you got here? Yeah, we got some.
What in the world is this?
That looked like 1980s tech right there.
My God.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is, to be honest. It looks like it's a scientific calculator with a little attached printer. I love it. Wow. All right. Anyways, but our members are great, and it's a great place to not only get fun, crazy stuff, but actual helpful trading tips and tricks. We actually get serious and talk trading as we get into the markets, and we're here all day, and our members are fantastic. As you can see, great senses of humor and real smart traders as well. It's a fantastic place to be. So if you wanted to join us, we've got a number of membership options. You do not have to have a phone like that to be able to join. Call us today. Anyways, no. Go into the website, bearbulltraders.com, and you can check out our membership options and find the one that's right for you, and hopefully join us sometime soon. All right, Carlos, let's get to setting some levels. I mean, while it's a quiet day, there are a couple of levels we could set. So let's get to that, and then we'll get ready for this market open.
Yeah, absolutely, shoot. Man. Let's jump in here, friends, and let's see. Yeah, let's get right on here. So right now, PLTR, Tesla, NVIDIA, NBA are on my list this morning. I see our moderators are throwing their list together as well, and a couple of things that are very similar to what I have. So looking forward to run through that list and see what they have as well. All right, let's jump in here. Let's start with PLTR. Let's do levels. This morning, they are doing very well, man, up 8.6. The news that they're joining, is it the S&P 500, Peter?
Correct me if I'm wrong. 500, yep.
All right, there we go. So they're joining. I think Dell's joining. American Airlines is out. And who's the other one that's out? You mentioned
Etsy.
Etsy's out, which I'm surprised Etsy was even in there. So yeah, But there you go. So PLTR enjoying some of that news this morning, and they're doing very well. 8.6, 3.9 million, going to 4 million shares traded. Levels here: high of the pre-market 33.01, the low at 32.10. So if you mark that there, you're saying you can see how these two levels have played a part recently here, 32.10, and over here over at 33.01. So that's two good levels there. In between there, we do have this area which I do want to mark down is 32.60. So if you look at the daily, a lot of days just slamming into that this morning. So you definitely want to have that on there, and that looks pretty good. Towards the top, have we been higher in PLTR? Does not look like we have. So we're just kind of flirting around with their all-time highs here. Let me look at. Oh, no, that's not the case. Let's go back over to actually November 21st. It had this huge spike up. This was when they first IPO. So stocks tend to go a little bit crazy. So when they first IPO, they went from what's $8 all the way to 45 in a matter of a few days. So again, just the madness we're having. Every time a stock IPO, a few days later, or even the same day, they were just rallying like crazy. So 45 is their all-time highs. But then above our pre-market highs now, they're hanging out at 33.01. Actually, we have 35 just in case we get going. And at 38 is going to be the next one, 38, 39.03. Again, I don't think we'll get there, but just in case. Yep, David Kung Hung, American Airlines is out. That is correct. They're out of the S&P 500. All right, so there you have it for PLTR, my friends. Towards the bottom, highs and lows of the last two trading days, doing a really good job. They did not cover this level, which I would like to have on here, which is 31.53. So that's what we'll call it. That looks good. A couple of days slamming into that. You definitely want to have that on there. Here is Tesla. Tesla this morning, again, tons of volume. Really big sell-off on Friday, man. The 232 all the way down to 210. And this is what I love about Tesla. It can give you so many great trading opportunities. So that was a great sell-off on Friday. Trying to recover here a little bit today. Low of the pre-market sitting at 213.54. So slamming level there. And then over towards the top, we're sitting at 216.60 is the high of the pre-market this morning. So there you have it. Then if you look at that, guys, you're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last two trading days right on here. So don't really need to add anything more to make this more congested or complicated than what it needs to be. So nice and simple there for us. Here's NVIDIA. And as we look at NVIDIA, I'm going to check what our count is over on our YouTube chat. Let's see how we're doing there this morning. Sitting at 9:15 right now. 9:15 coming up, and we're sitting at 204 likes so far. So that's okay. We're on track for the number that we need to be before Peter and I hop off. NVIDIA this morning up 1.2, tons of volume as usual. 6.2 million shares traded right now. High of the pre-market 104.96. The low of the pre-market is pretty much where your previous day close is previous day close is right here. So that is all set there for you. If you look at the bigger picture on the daily, we're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last two trading days, so you're pretty much set there. These levels are done all for you today. Looking at BA, some good news for these guys finally, right? So they settled the possible strike with the union and all this other stuff they're getting just slammed with. 168.39 is the high of the pre-market. The low is going to be down at 161.11. And if you look at the bigger picture, surrounded by the highs and lows of the last two trading days, we do have another level above the pre-market high, which is, I think it's worth noting. It's going to be 172.14. And then you also have 175.21. Again, it's just, and I know they're up 3.4, but it's so hard for the stock to get going because it just seems like we're waiting for the next bad thing to happen on BA here. All right, friends, let's walk you through what our moderators are watching. I see our team has got their list ready to go here. Peter, what's everybody's list look like this morning?
Yeah. Everybody's starting to get their lists in, which is good. Some, common threads, as you would expect, right? Everybody loves Tesla, so let's just get that out of the way. Tesla for all. Thor's also watching Amazon, AMD, and ARM. We didn't talk about ARM today, but it's on his list. Lenny's watching PLTR, Dell, BA, DJT, which we did mention but didn't love, Summit, so the one that's curing cancer, and of course NVIDIA. Mike is, he mentioned BA, so I know that he's watching it. Andrew has got, the usual Tesla plus NVIDIA, PLTR, Dell, and Summit, so sticking to the stuff in play. Megan's keeping it tight with PLTR and Tesla, like I already mentioned, everyone's got. Phil's also adding NVIDIA, PLTR, and AVGO. Broadcom in the news last week, but I don't know. Phil might have some trouble with that, but he's going to keep an eye on it for us. I am going to be watching my usual AMD, NVIDIA, and PLTR. I'm also adding Dell, American Airlines, and of course, Tesla. Pierre is going to be watching, the semis and AMD and NVIDIA, plus Apple. So that's good. And last but not least, Brian has come in with AMD, NVIDIA, Tesla, of course, Apple, and PLTR. So as you can see, a lot of common things that we're watching here, and we'll see what moves, right? Sometimes you got to sort of spread a wide net, especially on a day like today where you never know which is going to take off. So I'm going to be cautiously watching a bunch of stuff. I've got nothing that grabs me off the open. PLTR looks best right now, but you never know. NVIDIA is also looking a little strong. So we'll see where they go. But again, I'm going to wait. Opening bell rings. I'll take my time to figure out what we are going to push once the market starts to move. So you guys be equally cautious out there, trade smart, and hopefully you will have a good day. Now, our live trading is coming up next with Brian as always, and I'm not sure if Andrew's going to be able to make it. He's dialing in. He's been in the chat room, but he is in a place where the internet connection can be spotty. So we'll see if he's able to actually trade live with us this morning. If not, well, don't worry, we'll have someone else jump in. We got a lot of moderators that are trading and can help. So. We'll see. Andrew, you going to give it a shot? If you can hear me, we'll see if he tries to trade live with us and how that goes. Oh, he's trying. I see the camera coming. So that could be awesome. So, Carlos, I think we're ready to go for this morning. Your list, well, you've got a few on here. I know you're not normally leaping immediately when the market opens, especially when you're all furry and cute like that. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm just looking at pictures of this Kathmandu, man, this looks awesome.
Kathmandu, it's a cool place. I've never been, but there's a song about it. Anyway,
there is. Okay, yeah, this looks.
The Beatles, nice. I think, had a song about.
Hey, look at this! Look at this picture here with the background. Wow. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, friends, we'll hand it over to Andrew.
You got some work to do right at the open. So I know you can't trade the open because what are you doing?
I'm buying a charger. No, a cable for my camera. That's what I'm doing. Cable for my camera. All right, friends. For me, PLTR, Tesla, NVIDIA, and BA. And before we let you go, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We really appreciate it. We try not to bother you guys. I know sometimes you forget and you like the reminder, but hit that thumbs up. It does help the show a lot. So if you're enjoying the show, guys, slam that thumbs up, and we really, really appreciate it. So, all right, we'll hand it off to Andrew and Brian, and we'll see you guys in the chat. Take care.
Take care, everybody. Trade smart.
All right, we'll keep going. If they're not ready, no problem.
They're not here yet.
Let's keep going.
They're still logging in.
Oh, man, we thought they were ready to go.
Keep going.
Andrew.
Yeah.
I see Andrew's camera. It looked like it was coming up, but then he hasn't connected yet. He's probably trying. Every once in a while, especially when you travel, you get like some of the tools, right? There might be a block on them, like maybe he can't fire up vMix or something. I'm not sure, but Brian's here though. Look at that. He's got his sign lit, Brian. Ready to go. Red light district. Yeah. Here comes Brian.
Brian's ready to go.
For that.
Beauty.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, Andrew, he was a good man. We'll miss him.
He was a good man. He's distracted by the beautiful views out there, as you can see.
Maybe. So yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. How was your weekend, Brian?
My weekend was good, thank you. How was yours?
Excellent. Yeah, fantastic. It's pretty easy weekend. One of the first in a very long time where I wasn't out doing things. I just had sort of a normal weekend around the house. My here. How about this? My wife and I herkle-durkled this weekend.
Okay.
What is that?
This is a family show.
Herkle-durkled? It sounds personal, doesn't it? It's a Scottish term. It basically means to stay in bed after you should have got up. When you're awake in bed and you're just reading a book or scrolling on your phone or something, Yeah, Herkel
Ah,
Durkel.
okay,
There you
nice.
go. There's a new
Yeah.
term for you.
There you go. I was concerned
Yeah.
of what was coming out here, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, there you go. It's don't worry, family friendly. It's all good. But yeah,
Well, okay, I did that. I did that Saturday too. That's usually
there you go.
it's usually after getting up 5 days a week at 5:45 in the morning. I like to take my time when I get out of bed on Saturday. So, yeah.
So there you go, everybody. There's a new term for you. See, people thought it was just being lazy. The Scottish actually have a term for it. It's called Herkel Durkeling. So there you go. It's my education moment for everybody today.
Learn something new every day here on the BBT YouTube channel. It's got to be worth a few likes there. And I thought Andrew wasn't leaving till Tuesday, so I guess he's already left.
He left.
Yeah, he's already there.
Yeah, he's. I think he's. Well, who knows? He said he was there. Social media showed him with Dr. Nima. He seemed to be very excited to see him again. So he crashed the Lambo. I don't think he crashed the Lambo. He only put a deposit. Yeah, I wonder what happened with that. I want Andrew to join just so he can tell us the latest saga with that car, because I know he put a deposit down and then was having insurance struggles. So
yeah, having insurance issues. Although I know somebody definitely insures those things.
Yeah, somebody's got to.
I thought Lloyd's would probably do it. Lloyd's of London. So Apple got their big iPhone reveal event today. Usually Apple sells off on these things, runs up into them and then sells off. But we'll have to wait and see if that is the case. They're going to come out with their new phone that's probably going to have some Apple intelligence, they're calling it. How well did that work out from a marketing perspective? AI.
I know. It's interesting how we went from being concerned that our phone is listening to us all the time to now they're promoting heavily. Yeah, that's a selling feature now, that your phone will like just never give you any privacy. So.
It will. It definitely will be listening to you. Herkel Dirkling or whatever you're up to.
There you go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we really, I'm just looking at some of the price action this morning on our indexes. Really kind of flatlining.
Well, PLTR dropped here over the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, just a little. Just put some lines in on the indexes here so I know what ranges we're dealing with in the SPY and the Qs. Again, pretty narrow range this morning. We'll be watching for a breakout one way or another on those on this trading range.
Dell is not looking awesome.
Nothing's looking great yet. Summit is pulled up SMMT. It seems to be popping a bit here.
Well, that curing cancer will do that for you, for your stock.
Sure. PLTR, so it looks like they dropped it just to pick up a few shares. Maybe, I don't know. Did come back up. See what Summit looks like. Summit Therapeutics.
Hey, everybody, Thor will be joining us in just a minute here. So, Brian, you'll get to trade with Thor through the open. Thor's usually good at finding something interesting to trade.
Awesome. the Summit level 2 is looking very, very blank. So there isn't like a lot of orders. NVIDIA is looking very empty as well. No orders to the upside, or at least very little until you get to 108, 110, which is a little bit concerning for taking it long anyway. See what AMD looks like. AMD's got a few more orders to the upside. Maybe looking a little more promising, but AMD can be pretty squirrely at the open. Let's see what Tesla looks like.
Squirrely.
Tesla's looking like there's an order there at 220 we might actually get to. All right.
Howdy, howdy.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, Thor. Good morning. How was your weekend, Thor?
It's not bad. I mean, I'm doing good to stay positive. My daughter's private school because of all the rain here, had a sewage backup. So that was
Oh my God,
not
that was
good.
horrible.
So she's going to be out of school for a little while, but we're staying mentally positive on that, and I'm looking forward to having a little fun with this market today. Leading in right now, the ES on Friday, or the SPY and the ES, they kind of, if you're looking at Friday's high, we have a really large block of orders sitting right at Friday's high right now. So depending on where we open, could be an interesting day today if we decide to run for those orders. So, but I'm not like totally sold in, but we are opening above, kind of in a breakout range for these. So if we happen to make a run for those orders, things could get really interesting. So, but I want to see kind of how we open Tesla for me that you were looking at before. That one's opening in a selling range for me. So if the market does go weak, I might be interested in getting my Tesla on. So it could be a fun one.
Yeah. Tesla's definitely, like you said, definitely opening in a selling range.
So for me, for Tesla, I wouldn't mind seeing Tesla squeeze to 217 if we find a seller there, because it had such a hard sell on Friday. It closed in a bearish engulfing as well with a lot of volume. So if Tesla opens here under 217, it's technically a selling range with some big orders sitting up there. So if we fade there, I'd actually might look for a continuation in Tesla's sell that it started on Friday. Really aggressive one too.
Looking at AMD is looking a little bit spicy. But again, I think Thor, you would say this is opening in a selling area.
Yeah.
Or maybe
yeah, for me too. Ooh, ding,
okay,
ding,
here
ding.
we go. Here we go.
Oh, AMD's beautiful. I really like this spot on AMD. Howdy, you two people. Good to see y'all.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, whatever. Ooh, AMD is dropping.
I shorted AMD right at the open, Brian.
Okay.
You called it like right under R3 in the selling range. The order book had some big orders to the downside, so I went ahead and fired when it squeezed up to 136.20. So if it comes back up, I'll get out of it and wait a second and see what happens. But I like kind of your read on that one. It's in a good spot.
Mm-hmm. Summit's popping up a bit to the VWAP.
I'm rarely that aggressive, but it was opening right in the exact spot.
I'm long NVIDIA. I think it might get to 106.
Yeah, come on now. So you can see here, I'm in here. So if it holds here and squeezes back up, I'll get out of it. But so far, so good. ES just ripped up to R6.
Yeah, look at the Qs and the SPY are bouncing here. All right, I just sold a little NVIDIA at 105.83. We're getting to 106 here.
Nice.
Partial.
Markets above in the breakout area. If it starts to move towards those big orders, it could be something that we were talking about right before the open. So I'm kind of hanging to see what happens with all that.
Come on, there we go. 106. Just selling some more here. 611. Nice. Nice. Ooh, liking this.
I can't see. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, PLTR is moving up as well.
Unfortunately, I didn't get any good follow through there on that AMD one, so I cut it.
No. Well, the markets are rallying, so probably was working against you there. Yeah, I just kind of glanced over at the markets before I looked at, I was looking at NVIDIA, and I thought the markets are looking like we're going to open strong. So that would probably bode well for NVIDIA. PLTR.
Quite aggressive.
Got R4 at pretty close to 107 on NVIDIA. Take a little more here, 106.55, 106.50 filled. Got some big orders sitting up here, 107, 108.
Watching Amazon up here at R4, see what it does today.
Amazon. SPY Q still pushing here. We might get that
there goes
Friday
Tesla.
high. You never know.
Okay.
Tesla's moving. Yeah.
Tesla just went into a selling range, and it found a pretty solid seller at 218, or actually it sold in front of 218. Be interesting watching the volume now to see what they do about that. I want to see how well they can negotiate 218. I'd like to see it get to 218.50 if I'm going to consider it for a short. The CVD is actually red on it, so it's selling as it's pushing up.
Yeah, it's rated R3. Well, Still sitting here with some NVIDIA. I was kind of debating about adding back here at 106. But I'm not sure I want to do that. Let's see. Maybe at the VWAP. Yeah, VWAP's 105.26. I don't think I'm going to. We'll see here. See, it did bounce back there. How do you, someone asked me on the weekend, I think, I want to email, noting that sometimes the VWAP on DOS is different than the VWAP on Bookmap. Do you have an explanation for that?
Well, it's a volume weighted average. So
Yeah.
so it depends on the amount of, there's a lot of different things that can impact it, like how much time is being given. So like
that's true.
If one like time frame starts at like 8 in the morning, or the other one's time frame starts at like midnight, since you're going to have different amounts of volume involved, you'll get a different, slightly different VWAP. So this is one of the things like they were talking about, the anchored VWAP, where you could actually add an anchor period to it, so that it was, so that it wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
All right, ES made it all the way up to R6, so this is the edge of the range. So this is kind of go time as far as the ES goes. If it breaks up from here, I don't see any reason why it can't just keep going. So this is where, if we're gonna find our big sellers, they should be somewhere here. If not, I'm going to have to just let this thing roll for a little while.
NVIDIA is spending an awful lot of time here, 106.10-ish area.
Oh, yeah. It's an interesting spot. NQ is currently working to find some more buyers at this level, like the Qs and stuff. They're trying to push right now. There they go. This will let NVIDIA push. Let's see what happens here if they find enough buyers to make this thing go.
Just added some back there on NVIDIA.
The market's still rallying, Dash. So it's going to be hard to reverse tech tickers right now while the market's still pushing. You kind of, although we got a lot of volume on Friday, we just sold so much. I actually think this is more of a relief rally. I think it's shorts covering after the big drop. I think we're just squeezing because the volume's not overly aggressive.
I agree. You can get these really wicked rallies in the middle of a.
We just found a really big seller
a bear.
on the Qs.
Yeah.
We're right on the edge of the range, so if it's going to happen, this is where it should happen, somewhere around here, if it's going to happen at all. If not, then what Jared in the BBT room, y'all YouTubers talking about today being a mean reversion day, where, we just went so far, we're just kind of getting some relief and pulling up, and that's a really good point. There goes AMD now.
Yeah, AMD's rolling over. I'm out of. I'm just getting out of the rest of my buddy NVIDIA.
Good buddy.
Good buddy. Yeah. 106.10. So that was an okay trade. PLTR is still pushing. Anybody
The Qs
who
tried to
took that
push a
long
minute
today?
ago. When the Qs tried to push a minute ago, they didn't get the buying they wanted and got met by selling. So we're definitely in a spot here, but they're still trying.
Yeah, we bounced off the VWAP and some moving averages there in the Qs and the SPY. All right,
how's
no position
everybody
for
out
me
there
right
on
now.
YouTube?
I think PLTR it's probably going to go to 34. It's going to need to do some consolidation probably. But yeah, NVIDIA is just sort of hanging around here. Again, this 106 sort of 30 level looks like we've got a seller there.
Yeah, definitely. 106.50 has an iceberg seller. 107 has a very big institutional seller. But we've got plenty of buying going right now. Our CVD is green. So you got to think, I mean, on NVIDIA, it's a pretty good price.
Yeah.
Like if you were looking to start picking up a little NVIDIA hasn't been at $100 for a while, since like last month.
True.
Maybe if people want to get a little more, get a little something. That whole what was it, the investigation thing or whatever with NVIDIA? Oh, NVIDIA's order book really started to pick up a lot of downside orders.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
NVIDIA's going to start selling a little bit. It's got too many orders to the downside.
I just was thinking about shorting it there.
It just cleared a couple of those orders. Now let's see what happens. It's got a block of orders at 106. Now it's going to pull back up to, it'll probably pull back up and hit 106 and test that block of orders and see how much is there. If a lot of selling hits on this back test and force it back down, we'll sell.
AMD is pushing up here. Yeah, NVIDIA is sitting right on the VWAP.
You see what it did right there? NVIDIA pulled right back to that 106 orders, tested into it, and then immediately sold away from them. Let's see what they do here. If they can blow through them here, they got a shot. They're still over VWAP, but now there's more orders to the downside. All right, there's a buyer here, 105.
Yeah, there's a buyer right at VWAP.
I'm using a Benjamin over in YouTube. I'm using a visualized order book to a degree, but I'm actually just reading the tape right now. So I'm actually just watching the chart and reading the tape and seeing. And then I'm using DOS's level 2, so I can see the blocks coming in. And I use on DOS, I like to use if you have DOS, I like to use the order highlight feature. So basically, so if there's larger blocks of orders, anything like for NVIDIA, I'm doing like anything over 50, like any order that's larger than 50 lot, I'll highlight. So you can, so it kind of brings them to my attention. So like as we were pulling back towards 106, I could see there were 3 orders that were large, that were really close together. It was like 30 lot, 50 lot, and like 230 lot. So a really big order. So, and then and then I have bookmap as well. I'm really, really big on reading the order book. I would actually say that VBA and order book reading is my primary skill that I utilize to trade on a daily basis. And then I pair that with Camarilla pivots for like range expectations. So you can see there, look at NVIDIA now. See after that back test to 106, see how the volume came in and we hit a seller there? I told you if we went there and no volume came in, we'd sell away from them, which we just did. So now it'll be interesting to see what kind of response we get to that. But it did what we thought. I did get short a little NVIDIA too.
Yeah, PLTR got to 34, just as I had expected. Qs are still holding. Still holding.
I was literally just going to say that. Qs though still feel very firm about doing what they want to do right now.
Yeah, for sure.
If its market would sell, this NVIDIA trade would already be done. I'd probably already be at my target by now. I need this thing to get down to like 102. It's going to be a long hold on this one. We'll see if it actually happens. Thank you, Penny. If you hadn't had an opportunity to like for Brian, then I think now is a good time. I mean, I did just completely call NVIDIA for anyone who was paying attention as far as selling with the book read. Good, great commentary, good breakdown. I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
If you don't like for me, at least like for Brian, because I mean, it's Brian. Just look at him.
There you go.
How do you not like for Brian?
Good question, especially on a Monday.
Especially on a Monday. He's here. He's awake. He's dressed.
Yeah.
Thor,
fully dressed.
You begging for likes just fills me with glee. I love it.
For you, I do these things. All right. So NVIDIA so far so good. I'm short NVIDIA from right around 106.
Wow.
So risking high a day. So far so good. So I'm just kind of hanging on, seeing how that goes. We can get this stinking market to talk itself into selling a little bit too. I'd have a shot.
Be a good deal.
We're coming back to pre-market high in the open price right now. So this is kind of a big moment for this trade. This is also, I think, 2 days ago's low on NVIDIA. So there's got to be a buyer here. So, look, 105 buyer. Eat them, get through them.
Yeah, 105.
We're selling into him though right now. So punish him.
Yeah, we lost 105. Now we're coming down to R3.
It's pretty good selling volume there. All right, this is where we should find our buyer if we're going to find one on NVIDIA. So this is who my opposition is right now. I gotta get through this buyer. Yeah, look at this. For those of you who can see my screen in BBT, look at this. We ate right into this large order right at 105, and then look how we bought off of it and started squeezing a little bit. Meh, rude.
Yeah, just squeezed right back up. The Qs bounced.
It's all right. I'm right back to the bottom of VWAP.
Seeing where, someone's popping back up. AMD just bounced right off the VWAP. Tesla little bounce there.
That buy had some decent volume to it. but most of that volume came in on the top side of the candle. So it's like we squeezed into a seller. Let's see what happens. God, I knew those orders on the market were still up there to the top side. I was just hoping, NVIDIA would hook me up with a little bit of a sell-off there first.
Yeah. Qs and SPY are right at high of day here.
Rude.
Yep. There's definitely some buying going on today.
I'm still holding. I like the idea overall. I'm still positive on the position, so I'm just hanging. If it comes back up, I'll dip and then see what happens when it tags R4. See if it does it again. All right, here we go. NQ is almost all the way to R6 now,
Yeah,
so
there we go.
everything's really made its run. Quite impressive.
Meta's had a pretty decent morning. Wow.
All right. ES all the way at R6, NQ all the way to almost R6. Let's see. See if we can find ourselves a seller. If not, I'm just going to be kind of chilling out. I'm still holding this NVIDIA position, so I don't want to get too crazy otherwise.
Yeah. Not liking anything right now. Summit looks like it's going to break out here.
52.50.
It's trying anyway.
Not very well.
Yeah.
I feel like we're struggling right now in this higher range to goad in some more buyers.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of effort to do this. I mean, the efforts, if they make it higher, they probably can start to squeeze enough to do it. So, but I'm not seeing that, at least in this moment. Might look for like a UTAD, see if we get like a really big upward movement with a whole lot of volume and see if that marks our top. If not, I'm just waiting, or if we start to sell with volume or something. Right now, we're just kind of stuck. There's some. Nope. There's just a little splurt. We don't have any major news going on either today, Brian. So that's the other thing I think is it's just kind of a day for the market just to kind of sit back and digest.
Yeah, we got really nothing.
Our vol on the SPY is about 80%, so it's not horrible. The thing I'm just kind of, thinking is like institutionally, if you were going to buy a future right now, futures expire in like a week. So I just don't know why you would buy like SPY or Q futures unless you're covering shorts. So it's...
I think you've got some triple witching next week, don't we?
Yeah, something. Yeah, I mean, a lot going on next week. So it's just hard to imagine people getting too crazy, like buying on these right now. But who knows?
Yeah.
These people know stuff I don't. So I know when it's moving. I don't know why it's moving.
Still getting some buying here.
The next futures symbols will be our Z contracts. We'll be starting to play for December now. It's time for it to start us a Christmas rally here in a little while.
Yeah, just get out of this September month. It's been ugly.
Still having trouble goading in those buyers. You like my Gump impersonation? Thank you, Raphzilla. We's like peas and carrots.
Yeah, buyers are going to be timid, I think, in this market, especially after the week we had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why are there no futures courses / education on BBT? Dalton, mainly because I haven't built it yet. But we are working, and I actually have a buddy of mine who's, I think, going to be doing some stuff with BBT as well, who's going to be helping me, and we're going to work to actually start building out some more futures content. In the main, if you come into the Elite webinar room, there is futures stuff that I've done in the Elite room for sure, for those. But I have done some future stuff in there, but nothing that's been published outside of BBT itself. There we go.
Shorted some PLTR.
PLTR, huh?
Yeah, just covered a bit at 33.28.
Oh,
I think it's coming down to 33 here. A little bit of a late trade, but I think it looks pretty decent.
Yeah, that looks nice. Good range, R3. Big value, gap after hours.
Yeah.
Order book has some weight to the downside. I'm
Yeah,
interested.
There was a loss of the VWAP there, just and some orders started showing up to the downside. Well, NVIDIA back at high of day, AMD's back at high of day, Tesla's back at high of day. What do you know?
What do you know? I'm still holding my NVIDIA position. Luckily, I got such a good entry on it. I'm actually still positive on the position. So, but it doesn't have to squeeze much. And things start changing. I was at about 2.5 R, I think, on it before it started pulling back, but still hanging on to it. I think I still got a shot. How's the book on Tesla? That's cool. Just had like a jet fly over.
I was going to say, just somebody just did a flyby on your house.
Yeah, it's like highway to the danger zone over here.
Love it.
Okay, so Tesla's order book is relatively bullish right now. But you are trying to buy into a very large set of sellers. So 219 to 220 is a very large, looks like just a ton of sellers sitting here. So it's going to be a hard-fought battle between 219 and 220 on Tesla if it decides to run that book. The order book on Tesla is actually a little lean to the downside. So it may not keep going up. I don't know if it's a really good short right now either, just because the book is so lean to the downside. I don't see why they would sell. So right now, I think they're going to try and at least buy into 219, and then we need to see kind of what happens here. If it rejects 219, downside targets would be like 210. Something like that.
It's got some big orders there at 220.
But right now, it's still buying into the top side of its book. I like where it's at, though. It's in a selling range. It's near R3. I mean, it's no surprise that there are a lot of sellers here. So how it negotiates 219 is pretty important.
Oh, Jesus. Summit is ripping. Damn.
Yeah, like right now, Tesla's still there. The tape's still pretty green. I mean, they're still actively trying to buy into 219. You want a really big seller to hit it. There it goes. Boom. See? Fun. Give me 1 second. I will be right back.
Okay, well, I have to see. Got it bailed on PLTR on the rest. That didn't work. Still made some money on that, but not really ripped back there after that sell-off. See what it's going to do. Qs are still at the top end of their range there. SPY is still trading at high of day.
All right, I'm back. All right, so we're still just kind of hanging out here. NVIDIA found that seller at the same place it found it last time when I went short. So still in that one. Still waiting to see if we get where we want to go. How did you do? Did you end up jumping out of the PLTR one?
Yeah, I had to bail on the rest.
Cool. Good stuff. All right, so the Qs now definitely look like they're starting to sell a bit.
Summit looks like it's on the verge of either blowing up or dropping like a stone. Problem with these, you just never know which way they're going to go. Yeah, it looks like it's going to blow up here. There we go. Going to 19. It's got long at 1850.
All right, NVIDIA's hitting the 50 SMA, or as I like to call it, the poor man's trend line. 50 SMA on the 1 minute. It's bounced off of it 2 times during this real chop fest since I've been short. If it can roll underneath that thing, I got a shot. We still got some orders to the downside that I've been aiming towards. So, but I need to get down into well into 103 for me to hit my profit target. So,
all right, here we go. Just selling some 1895 Summit. Here we go. We're going through 19 now. Come on, baby. Big order at 19. There we go. Boom.
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 Stinking buyer at the 50.
Okay,
why are you always picking on me?
I am out of Summit. Might run more, but let's see if I just take a look to see if it's got more orders to the upside. Well, there is an order at 20. All right. We might get to 20 on Summit. There's a chance. Good chance. Yeah, but I don't have a position now in Summit, so might get a big pullback here before we start to move up again, or maybe not.
I'm just kind of still hanging. I like how we're kind of starting to like wedge into the 50 a little bit, and we keep selling into it. But someone keeps buying my little poor man's trend line. Every time it comes back into the 50, we're finding a buyer there. So, but not a lot of buying. So if we can sell through this stinking thing, nope. There's all the order blocks again. 106. Yeah, right at 106. Just a really big seller just sitting there being a pain in my hind end. Whoa. Wow. The ES just went nuts. The ES didn't open in the right spot for me, or I wanted to just long that thing, but it didn't give me a good pullback to R4. I was going to just long the ES today towards those large orders we saw in pre-market. It's too easy. I just didn't get into it.
Yeah, we just got a big move there, eh?
Ugh.
That was a weird pullback on PLTR. Right back at high of day now.
Sad.
V reversal. Well, Summit's going. Still going.
Nice, Will. I think Will keeps buying the 50. He's who's squeezing me. Dang it, Will.
Jared's trading AMD. Very range bound, sort of just chopping in a range. The Qs are breaking out though.
So Dalton and YouTube. So the thing is NVIDIA has a large seller at 106. It basically starts at 106 and goes through basically 107. It's an institutional seller, and the market really doesn't have a lot of interest in it. But basically every time the Q squeezes, the market makers use that as an opportunity to push orders into that order. So like as it squeezes, anyone who shorted the NVIDIA basically covers their shorts. Their covers throw market orders into the book, and then the market maker is using those orders to fill the sellers. So if the market keeps squeezing, the market maker is just basically using the bears or anyone who keeps shorting in here and then covering and then shorting and then covering and then shorting and covering. He's basically just using them kind of as fodder to fill this order. So right now the order book is incredibly dense to the top side with all these sellers here, and it just doesn't look like the market's interested in it at all. But you know, they can do what they want to do. If the market's going to push and break out, then they might get the volume they need to push this out. I'm still holding it because my thought is that they're not going to have the volume to go through that order, but I could be wrong. And now I have Hassan. Hassan is openly betting against me right now, which is not nice. You better have at least liked this YouTube feed, Hassan, for all that kind of for all of that kind of action. If I get squeezed and I lose some money, at least like the YouTube.
Not nice. Not nice.
Not nice at all.
No. SPY and the Qs are at R4 now. Both at R4. Summit did not quite get to 120, or to 20, I should say. Might just do a little bit of consolidating here, but an order just showed up at around 1950, 1940. So that's not bullish. Someone moved their orders down there.
Stefan, thank you. Stefan hit the like button and said, thank you for the liquidity. Exactly. The least you can do after I'm providing liquidity for you is to like it. That's great. Let's see. This would be a nice question to field for YouTube there, Brian, while I'm waiting to see if I get stopped out or not. Ecto was asking, as a beginner trader, what learning path should they take? There's so much to learn, but they have a full-time job. So that's a lot to it. So I'll let you. What do you think? I'll let you hammer this one first.
There is a lot to learn, and if you've got a full-time job, you're going to have to do your learning like sort of like your sort of like you're going to have to do your learning at night, obviously, or whenever you're not working. But I would start out with reading some books, and we've got some good books available. If you're interested in day trading, Andrew's books are a really good place to start. if you're interested in more swing trading, I've got a book on swing trading, but I would say that's your first go-to would be, because a lot of people got introduced to this community through Andrew's and my books. Now, Thor, you can probably attest to that, because I believe it was Andrew's book that brought you to BBT.
Absolutely. Yep. First trading book and my only trading community, if you can imagine. So I agree with you. So I think, like, for, one of the things I think is I don't think there's any traders that I know that failed at trading because they didn't know how to identify an ABCD pattern. Those things are very, very easy and very quick to learn. Trading platforms, all of that stuff. The stuff that takes a long time to learn is like volume and price analysis, tape reading, order book reading, learning how to read market direction. Like, one of the things that makes Brian, we call him the prophet of profit, so aptly, because of his just incredible ability to just read market direction to the point to where at times it almost seems prophetic, because, he's just like, it's, I'm short. And you're like, why are you short? And he's like, because it was time to go short. You know what I mean? It's like the dude can just read what's going on. So, those are skills that he developed over, a decade plus of trading. So, I mean, actually, you may not know this, Brian's been trading actually since the Egyptian period. I don't know if you guys know this, but right after the last time he went to Egypt, he came back from Egypt a better trader, and the entire Middle East fell apart. I'm not saying that's because he went and took all the pyramid power out. I'm just no, I'm kidding. But that's for me. I would say work on the things that don't necessarily involve the trading part. Work on the the actual reading of the market, the understanding of the market, the fundamental knowledge of the market making. Why do things do what they do? The rest of that stuff actually comes together quite quickly.
All right. Well, quick little scalp here through 20 on Summit. It did manage to blow through there.
NVIDIA's trying to get my hopes up right now. It found a really big seller right where it's been finding a seller all day, and I'm still in. So
yeah, the Qs are helping you out there. Qs in the SPY,
and we lost the 50.
They rejected R4, both of them.
Yeah, we finally crossed the 50, my 1 minute 50 on that drop there. Notice the amount for anyone looking at your chart on the NVIDIA, notice how much volume came when we lost the 50. You can almost just tell that someone was buying those pullbacks to the 50 over and over and over. And then when we finally cracked it, they dropped the position and we just waterfall afterwards, quick drop. I've been short on NVIDIA since 940.
Yeah, you've been short on video right since the open.
I think I've been talking so much.
Yeah.
I'm holding a position over here. Everyone in the BBT room knows I've been talking so much because my name is Thor. But I'll just...
Exactly.
Will decided to stop buying. That's so true. Oh. All right, back to pre-market high / the open price. Let's see what happens.
What are you thinking of NVIDIA's book right now? I'm looking at it.
Looking better towards 105. I got a really nice block of orders right at pre-market high. So that's my first adversary. We're going to go bang. They held when we did this at like 949, 950. That block of orders held. So I need to sell through them, and that's a tall ask. But if I can get the stinking market to roll over for me, I have a shot.
Well, we're below the VWAP now, and we're at the VWAP on the Qs and the SPY.
We're selling nicely as well. I mean, we're under the averages now. We're under VWAP. There's a lot more volume to the sell side now. So it's looking much better.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to lose this 105.
It's interesting. One thing I was just watching, which is kind of fun on the YouTube channel. So when NVIDIA rolled over and cracked, I bet we had 40 people long in NVIDIA when that happened. Because as soon as that happened, we lost like 50 people watching the show. It was like right when NVIDIA rolled over and the market rolled over. You could just tell people were like cut, like they're done with their positions. Not that they lost money, but like they were probably holding long positions. And then they finished their position. And they're like, all right, I'm going to shut off the YouTube channel and go down and like make a coffee or something. You know, it's 10:20. But it's just funny because I literally watched like, you know, I watched like 50 something people go, boom, like just drop down. I'm like, was it something I said? But then I was like, oh, actually, it's kind of funny because the whole market like trend changed right there. I bet a whole bunch of people stopped out of positions and then just shut off the YouTube and went to go do something. That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
It's a real shame because Jared's going to come on at 10:30.
Oh,
I thought it had something to do with Peter's off-color comment about oogly googly or something, whatever he was doing in bed Saturday morning.
What is that? Urkel, Durkel, or Herkel?
Jerk.
Herkel.
That's right. Herkel.
You first said that, and I was like, well, there goes our YouTube subscription.
Yeah.
You know, better, guess we're going to have to.
It's a thing, people.
That's the, I guess that's if you just, what is it? What was it again? The thing, it's like if you just sit around and do nothing all day.
No, it's
that's
like
you,
and you wake up, but you just stay in bed because you can.
You just, because you can. Dang. I wonder what that's like.
Can. Yeah. Yeah. When you have kids, you don't have that luxury.
I'm a day trader where I can only make money in a couple of specific hours in a day, and I've got a couple of kiddos to boot. So I don't even know what sleep is anymore.
You know, that's the great thing about day trading. You can set your own hours.
Can I Herkel Durkel after I work, or is it like it has to be like an entire day kind of thing?
I don't know. It hasn't been an entire day
thing.
Yeah.
I feel like they should change the scripture to "and on the seventh day he Herkel Durkeled."
It's funny. MU is red on the day. It's interesting.
Come on.
Looks like NVIDIA's getting ready to
buyer.
Yeah. Looks like NVIDIA's getting ready to roll again here. Qs are kind of looking a little on the weak side. We've lost the VWAP.
Yeah, we got that pre-market high buyer on NVIDIA here now that I was saying that block at 105 I got to deal with. So we're still dealing with them. They haven't relented yet. Q's back to R4 now. So this is going to be this is kind of a key spot for the Q's. If they crack this, it puts them back into range. So which, you know, they generically, if you you know, you're not supposed to put kitty in the corner. But if you do, generically things normally get a little interesting. So if it gets stuffed back into the range, good chances it'll go find the bottom of it. That would also be a break of the IBR low as well for those of you where I'm actually going to be doing a presentation utilizing a trading a software that does a lot of trade reports and called Edgeful. Where I'm going to break down and show you how different tickers respond. And it's really more of a demonstration to show you maybe why you shouldn't be taking that trade more than other ones. But NVIDIA being a good instance, for instance, if NVIDIA breaks, if it makes now that it's passed, or once it breaks 1030, we'll have our high and low of our initial balance range set, which is the highest price and the lowest price of the first hour. If it breaks that IB low, the chances of it breaking the IB high are only about maybe 1 out of every like 15 days or something like that, trading days, it'll do that. So it's like, if it breaks that IB low, would you actually want to take that long if it comes back up and in? And the answer being generically, you'd be no. So it's just kind of stuff like that, and some really cool stuff. We're going to run it on the SPY. We're going to run it on futures, all kinds of different tickers, and we're gonna let the room actually kind of steer the direction. I'll let y'all call the tickers. We'll go through IBR, initial balance range there, Swamp. But for anyone who's not a member of BBT right now, might be a good time to take advantage of some of those promos Andrew is always running. Once he gets out of town, I'm sure he's not listening to this right now. Once he's out of town, we're going to start working on trying to figure out how to auction off a couple nights stay at his condo. I still haven't pulled that off, but I'm working on it. So
maybe some joy rides in his Lambo.
Some joy sits. You could have some joy sits in his Lambo. He would need insurance for you to drive it.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, too soon. Too soon. I'm sorry, boss. If I don't have a job tomorrow, that joke is going to be the reason. I'm so sorry, people. Yeah.
Insurance is just a luxury.
Who needs it? I mean, he could just buy another one, right?
But, you know, it's
for the other person.
Right. Yeah. It's not the liability insurance. It's the collision that he probably can't get insurance for.
Yeah. It would be hard. I mean, you got to think. I mean, I've been to Vancouver a couple times now. I mean, it's not exactly a place that makes me think low profile vehicle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is not fun driving here.
It'd be fun to drive my Jeep up there.
Every street you drive down, they've got it either blocked off or construction on it, narrowing, going into single lanes. Anyway.
Yeah.
Wine. First world
but it's
problems.
Beautiful.
Si, senor.
I really liked I went up and checked out that whole the bridge area that overhangs with the falls, and I just forgot the name.
Yeah.
That was gorgeous.
Capilano.
Yeah, Capilano. That was beautiful. My goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty nice rainforest here. So it looks like.
Come on, NVIDIA. Look how stacked that bid is on NVIDIA to the downside right now. 104.85, 70, 70, or 75, 70. I mean, just really strong bid down there. I'd be very surprised if they didn't go down there and at least have a little fun with those orders. But they'd have to break through the open price to do it. Come on. You know you want to. So for everyone out there in YouTube land, I believe we have a Jared session.
We do have a Jared.
A little bit. For those of you who don't tune in for Engineering the Markets with our man Jared, I mean, you're missing out. You'll see I put a Twitter post up there, and in the over the week, at Thor Young, by the way. And in that Twitter post, you'll notice there's a comment where I say I may not be the smartest trader. The reason I say that is because I trade around Jared. Very hard to feel like you're the smartest trader around Jared. I did shave my head actually originally because I wanted to be more like Jared. He said it would make me smarter if I, because the hair, it's like a heat sink on a computer. You get rid of the hair. It lets the heat out. Your brain doesn't run hot. Anyway,
inverse Samson.
Come in, enjoy it. He's a great guy, insanely good fundamentalist and market perspective. So make sure to come in and hang out with him and
check that out.
Make him feel the love so he comes on more often. I can tell you there's few people you're going to get better market knowledge from than that guy. I can't, you know what I'm saying? So just kind of keep that in mind.
Yes, sir.
All right, come on, NVIDIA. Let's go. We're through.
Here we go.
We're through. Let's come on. Let's start selling.
Oh, there's
baby.
your 105 break. There you go.
We're doing it, people.
Okay.
All right.
Wow. Should we switch over to Jared?
I think we should. I
think it would be a great time to hang out with our guy Jared. What do you think, YouTube people? You ready to talk with this intelligent guy here?
Now we're going to keep him in the BBT chat room as well for this segment.
Awesome.
So something new we're trying out with YouTube and BBT. So
Okay.
hopefully both audiences enjoy.
So we should drop off the vMix.
Yep. Just
For
don't sign
now?
into
Okay.
the BPT chat room until Jared's done.
Sounds
Yep.
good.
Oh, I can't be in the BBT chat room?
No, we're going to go live there with Jared.
Okay. All right.
Cool. All right. Well,
Okay.
we'll be watching.
Everybody, hope you had a good morning.
Thanks for
It was
all
a
the
rocking
likes.
session.
Love everybody in YouTube land,
Yeah.
and I'll be seeing you more this week for some more fun trading with our man Brian. Profit of profit.
Yeah.
Great trading with you as always, my friend.
Yeah, good trading with you, buddy. We got a few good trades in today.
Making some money.
Yeah, take care, everybody, and enjoy your time with Jared.
All right, let's switch over here. How's the audio sounding?
You sound great.
All right, and I'm assuming it's just me this morning.
It's just going to be you today. Sorry.
Okay, well I'll lead the charge here. So, welcome to this section for all those joining us on YouTube. Appreciate the continued attendance, and as always, we're looking for engagement here. So, as things kind of crop up, feel free to post questions in the main chat. I'll probably circle back a couple times and see if we can answer a couple of them before we head out. So I figured today the topic that's kind of been in focus is what does our September, and more importantly, what does our election cycle kind of look like for the indices, given that we've seen a week of trade so far from last week. Now, a little bit of caveat. Last week was a shortened trading week, so we didn't have a ton of, I would say, time to evaluate, but there was plenty of volatility and a lot of market sentiment driving towards this idea that the September to October period tends to be a bit more bearish. Usually the index performance tends to be either negative or relatively flat, which just means we're not really looking for anything bullish to be kind of the namesake of the September period and therefore the September candle. And as we can see from last week, we already started on the back foot. So really, no matter what happens, looking at this in relation to how we opened last week is going to be a big driver towards whether or not this market is deemed bullish, bearish, or neutral in September. And we can kind of see that there was a couple problems starting our week last week. First things first, breaking balance. And if you're someone who just kind of gets the general idea of a market auction, usually buyers and sellers agree on the price of an asset for a particular period of time. There's a lot of transactions that take place, but however we decide to break that balance, whether it be bullish or bearish, that's usually a big gauge as to whether or not we're entering into, let's say, a new rally. And we can kind of measure how the rally is going to proceed, some of the targets we can expect, and obviously whether or not there's some trend we can follow. Or in the case of what happened in September, we broke bearish. So breaking that balance to the downside pretty much implied that we were going to double the range. You know, our balance range was approximately 13 to 15 S&P points, maybe 10 to 12 if we're talking some of the regular trading hours prices. But as we saw, we broke that bearish. And what was so interesting about last week is we pretty much expanded that balance range in 3 days, along with that Friday session, which actually was quite extreme. So quintessentially, the sellers do have a lot of price control. They're obviously looking for further markdown or just downside in the indexes. But a lot of it is going to be in relation to the period of uncertainty that we're in. And I think from a reference point, we have to be talking about where we are, not only in the larger, let's say, bullish market that we've obviously been in relation to ever since the 2023 breakouts, but more importantly, what does another election cycle look like? And, the most recent one that we have that's marked in history took place between the periods of October, September, late October, all the way into November, and that is of course when the election results were fully known. So it's important to kind of see what type of trade we might be experiencing over the next couple of months in the indexes. And when you really kind of get a sense of looking back at how that trade took place and how much quote unquote uncertainty there was, we can very obviously see this is a larger weekly style trading range. One that has sort of a swing high, a huge sell off in terms of maybe the September period, a bounce. And that bounce, of course, was more into the October timeframe. So that's kind of where we found ourselves maybe a bit earlier as we entered into September, because we sold off maybe 2 to 3 weeks earlier than this range would suggest. And then, of course, what was the last couple weeks in that range? We were selling. And, without really looking too deeply into the price action, there was a lot of significant downside all the way to the extremes before anything actually changed. And we can obviously see that once the elections were over, there was sort of this clear turnaround. There was a breakout, and obviously the previous bull market continued. So when I'm looking for trade theory and logic towards how to think about markets, I'm really trying to understand it from a higher time frame in relation to how we should attack the lower time frames. And most of us here are going to be day traders, maybe short-term swing traders, not too many positional traders, although, we certainly have some who are looking to change where their allocations might be listed. What we want to understand right now is that as things move back and forth, there's still this larger context of we're in a period of uncertainty. And with that comes a lot of changes in price action. We often get huge volatility swings, sometimes even overnight, of which kind of puts a lot of overnight risk into the market. You can have pretty odd gaps at times, and oddly enough, those gaps don't have a lot of follow through, which just means that we're always playing things kind of back, never really away, but a lot of back and forth. Mean reversion kind of becomes a big deal in the medium term timeframes. And, for reference, if I were to shift back to that period, let's call it October and maybe September of 2020, along with the resolution closer to December of 2020, we can kind of leave this here. You'll notice that that area is highlighted, but if I bring this into maybe like an hourly time frame, hopefully this loads. Might have to do a 4-hour. See what I can get here. Just need something a little bit lower than the daily time frame. Platform's not letting me get there. Yeah, usually if it can't load, then I'm usually out of luck. So we can pull up the daily. That's fine. Let's get it back to just day time frame. So what's really important to see here is that look at how many of these sessions are not necessarily connected during regular trading hours, which is to say, observe the gaps. Was this range full of price action gaps that sometimes got filled, sometimes did not? And, at a glance, we could start off with the larger selling. And, there's a lot of similarities with how we sold in August and how this particular sell off started, usually off of a swing high. There's a bit of a kind of a sideways base area, and then there's a failure at the mid range, which obviously leads to the low. Then the low broke trend, and we saw a lot of that in August, where we rallied off of that extreme low. A lot of people looking for a new all time high, but what's the key here? We didn't make one. We got very close, and that's important too. But the context there is that once we achieved that high, things either started to move away, and in our case, they actually started to move sideways. That balance range I was referring to. The final thing to note here is what occurred after. And we are starting to see that fallback. Right now, one could argue that as far as location's concerned, we're somewhere right here. As far as using this as sort of a model of what to expect, the uncertainty of the future is obviously going to be in focus, but where we are from a historical trading range perspective compared to now feels as if we're just kind of caught up in the mid range. And as you can see, there's not a lot of trust in this area as far as support, given that we did have to fall all the way to the lows and theoretically the supports. You can almost see that that's kind of where the candles stop selling. Even as they're hitting it, there's sort of this buying rebound effect, and that happens to be our support. So when we look across the S&P and kind of where we are now, let's think of it from that model. We have this mid-range area after a large sell-off, and you can almost tell it's mid-range due to just the overlap in price. You have the extremes. One could argue that maybe we shouldn't have been that low in the sell-off, but we did achieve it. So either we can mark this low or the absolute low. There's some nuance as to which one is the actual support at this time. And then there's also this historical one where we know a lot of volume transacted. So as we're moving down and in the uncertainty of a trading range, the easiest thing to say is that we're currently in that backside move, but we're not necessarily trusting the mid range just yet. We know we've achieved it. We know that we could get a little bit of back and forth here, but the truth is that the last time we saw price action like this, we did have to come to the lows to finish it. And this is, of course, a bullish outlook. The obvious thing to say here is, what if the market is distributing? What if we are selling? And what if this range is only temporary so that the future can be a downtrend? So in the short term, I think we're very much on the defensive side, which means we're very reactive. We kind of get short when shorter term time frames go bearish. We acknowledge the, let's just say, higher time frames as maybe being sideways or a little bit range bound. And then we also review historical data suggesting that this will not really resolve itself completely until we get past a certain time frame, whether it be just getting through the FOMC later in the week or week after this, getting through the elections themselves, and more importantly, consequences of other market dynamics, which a lot of that's covered in engineering the markets. So as an overview, I think it's important just to see the indexes based on where they are and to kind of give August its cadence. August was a huge rebound effect. That's common, just based on where we started or kind of ended August, or sorry, ended July, finished August in the right spot. But it's September now. And with that comes new money, new risk, new perceptions and sentiment. Even more importantly, just kind of observe how important these ranges are historically. After all this is said and done, who's to say that this won't become a key benchmark area for the market? The only thing really to quantify here is we don't know if this range is support. We really don't know if this is kind of the beginning of a new move or the end of what we've experienced before. And, time will obviously give us more information, but also resolution of what we currently see. So, all that said, I think it's important for swing traders and active traders alike to kind of get a sense of what's causing the selling. Tech right now is theoretically not necessarily seeing the same bullish enthusiasm as we saw in previous months. We're getting some risk off signals across, let's say, communications, just theoretically, just based on where they're located. It's more a game of, are we closer to highs or are we closer to lows? And then we're seeing a very defensive trade across other sectors, whether you call it consumer staples. Coca-Cola is going up 1 to 2% every single day. It's bullish, but it's not supportive of the market or the indices. We have healthcare showing like some renewed strength in August and hopefully continuing a little bit into September, but we do have a pivot candle. Utilities, pretty much approaching the all-time high. That's highly focused on the changes in how risk-free money is being allocated. And then, last but not least, real estate. That's certainly more of a counter effect to falling rates. So it's important to kind of see what's been changing under the hood. It hasn't necessarily been about tech in the past couple of months. And as we've seen a couple things maybe change around or just shift their focus, where the new money is being allocated becomes a bit more of a conversation piece. So hopefully that kind of is a decent overview of what we've been seeing. And what we're looking to do is either continue trade or just look for those extended periods, maybe to get a little bit of a counter trend movement, but always be waiting for, the price trends to get back into realignment where we're seeing the strength, if bullish. Obviously, if you're bearish, I'm kind of giving tech the do not touch at the moment, only because we want to see how tech reacts to its supports. And moving forward, tech might actually become a place to focus more as a bearish market participant. So hopefully that kind of covers the bases there. Any questions on YouTube? Any clarifications or comments?
We can also take questions in the BBT chat room as well.
Perfect. Let me scroll up here. I was very focused on the YouTube side.
We'll give YouTube a few minutes. But there's somebody's asking about what's your thoughts on Apple right now in the BBT chat room. As
always. So we're all very focused on short-term trade as our day traders. I'll give Apple the not bullish look. Apple's part of tech. Daily time frame has suggested Apple tried to break out, failed, reversed to backtest supply. This is now supply and is selling. So theoretically, I would never be bullish until this trend starts to change back. You could even call it, let's say, an hourly perspective, because right now the hourly is a big guide for the daily. If the hourly is bearish and the daily is suggesting bearish, you can play off of supports. But if they break, we're just part of the larger downtrend. So, your sellers are at support right now. Maybe there's a reaction, but beyond that, you got to be careful because supports aren't really strong in downtrends. They break. That's kind of the whole point. Let's see. You said in the video was long again, and again it was short, as Thor said. When mistakes keep happening with your plan, I was not trading NVIDIA, so you need to understand I'm using other market gauges to understand a trade that I might be in. It doesn't mean that I'm actively participating, nor do I really care about the consequence. It's very important. Market traders really don't care about consequence. They're just looking for RVR. NVIDIA has a support. It's based on reactions around 104.30, maybe a little bit lower. There was a false breakdown last Friday. So whenever the buyers bought it this morning, they pushed it into the mid-range. You're seeing a failure because there's some red, and that's perfectly normal as an intraday trader. But if this support holds, and this low is a false low or a test low, then moving it to 110 might still occur, which simply means that we're only short so long as these highs exist. They're the mid-range. That's fine. That's perfectly normal for intraday trade. But bigger picture, I just want you to observe the candles. It's a very obvious thing about trends. If this starts to go green, it'll just look like a trading range inside of a downtrend. And the only thing that we're concerned with is, can they start selling it faster than the resistance or the highs of recent history? That's all. So hitting supports, hitting resistances, these are all very short-term concepts. NVIDIA is obviously in a downtrend. But as we approach the lows, what we're looking for is any semblance of buying support. And if it's not there, then NVIDIA will start to look like Tesla back in 2021, which is a bigger thesis. So the idea that NVIDIA might be done.
I got a question in YouTube from Dan Guerrera. Would the results of the election mark the end of the period of uncertainty, or will it likely extend into inauguration?
So just by using the old trading range, and you could certainly use maybe a few of them, but you'd be going back to almost 2012 and 2016 elections. I would say that one time frame to keep an eye on is how November starts. If you'll notice that I would say like the very clear buying signal, aka an engulfing bar, took place at the beginning of November. But what's also important to see here is that the market went straight down into October too. So price action wise, I would say we're still at risk of some trade range activity, and trusting only the supports and resistances for now is kind of the guide until we get a better resolution, which is, getting out of the range in the first place. The thing to see though is, what range am I talking about, and do we trust this range as demand? Which means, do we expect this range to be bullish after? That's more for time, but I will say that you can easily test support right now. And just knowing where those are, whether it be the low from Friday before August 5th, the August 5th low, or the previous swing low in the uptrend. It's one of those three. We're not close enough yet to really understand it. And a question from Titan: other than the BBT community book, what books do you suggest to read? It really depends on your style as a trader, what you're looking to learn. But I would say a lot of value comes from a core technical analysis book. Technical analysis of the financial markets is usually the one I refer to. And then start, in my opinion, learning a little bit more about market structure and how supply and demand acts, more from the auction and cyclical periods that markets tend to go to. If you're a short-term trader, it's helpful, but it's also very useful if you're a swing trader, someone who maybe wants to understand, should I be looking for dip buys? Should I be looking for, rejections, or should I be playing ranges? Just knowing those opportunities exist until the market changes around you. So
Great, Jared. Thank you so much for coming on. You're here
not
every
a
Monday.
problem. every Monday until told otherwise.
Okay, we're going to sign off. Any last words before we do?
No. Thank y'all so much for joining. I hope y'all enjoyed the morning trade with Thor and Brian. As always, we're kind of actively in the intraday session. So if you're looking to gain more knowledge, please feel free to give our community a try. And we're looking forward to seeing y'all shortly.